Hi there, we're back. We're going to do a little gallery tour now to give everyone an idea of size and perspective and talk a little bit about some of the beautiful works in the exhibition. So we'll start here with Irene's, and I'm just going to sort of get closer to some of these so that you can see these gorgeous little magpies playing or fighting, Irene?
I call it sibling rivalry.
Sibling rivalry. And the top bird is?
A little wattle bird in colour, so one of the few that's in colour at this exhibition.
Beautiful. And then we'll move across to the beautiful little kookaburras, 3 of them. Sorry about the reflection here. You can see this one's already sold. And Irene, there's a little bit of space I noticed just here.
Yes.
On this side. Is that there for a reason?
Yes, just so that it's composed more on the rule of thirds, and so that it looks like there is space that he's singing his little song into.
Lovely, lovely.
And this one, I thought, she's not the popular one in our backyards. It's a noisy miner, which is the Australian variety. But I can't believe how pretty those little delicate wings are. When they fly in your yard, I just think she's a very pretty bird, even though a lot of people think that they're a nuisance in their backyards. And one that I've been grappling with for a long time is the colour scheme on this crimson rosella. The amazing crimson red, and then the pale blue, and then that indigo in the patterning on the back of the birds. It's exciting for me.
And of course another little one here, another magpie.
Just a baby.
The magpies are very popular, Irene, I have to say. My Instagram just lights up when I put these magpies on. Now there's a set of 3 here, and they're a little bigger than the other ones. Are they based on some of the photos that you've taken?
Yes, this particular one was a youngster that, oblivious of me standing there taking photographs. He was just interested in the insects he believed he could catch as they flew past him. And I was able to get a whole bunch of shots of this little family of young magpies. But it took, I don't know, 3, 4, 5 attempts to finally get the spontaneity in the brushstroke that I was seeking for that particular one.
And it's perfect. It's beautiful. Now we're going to move across here. So for those of you that have the catalogue, and that's easily downloaded now from the website, you will notice that these are actually textile pieces. So Irene, if you would like to explain a little bit about these, and I'm going to get nice and close so you can see the stitching.
Okay, so the birds themselves, the parent bird and the little youngster again, are heavily embroidered by machine. And I use a technique that I have basically developed myself, which involves fairly long stitches that are stitched slowly by the machine. I put the machine in at one spot, drag it across, and then put it in another spot. So the stitches are very long. And the point of that is that they actually sit above the fabric. They're not embedded into the fabric like when most people do fast machine embroidery. They stitch very quickly and have lots of little stitches that they fill into an area. But by sitting them on the top, the light catches the luminosity of the thread and creates a three-dimensionality that is not possible if you stitch with shorter stitches.
These are absolutely sensational. And the lines on this one?
And this one's sort of carrying on from the Perspex ones, where I'm making the invisible visible, and I'm talking about him sighting his borders of the area that he lives in and checking the borders, because they're territorial birds, as we know. And that's a reference to the territorial checking.
Okay, now to these Perspex ones, which just absolutely have everyone's attention. And yes, so we're going to, it's very hard because there's a lot of reflection, but I'm just going to pull it out a little bit so that you can see that it moves. Maybe if I step back with the camera, Irene, and you just, that's better.
And these look very different depending on where you choose to hang them with different backgrounds. So at home I had them actually hanging in front of a door, and so in the daylight the background is almost white. By night time it's black, and so The lines in the perspex show different, become visible in different lighting conditions.
No, these are stunning, and I think that this one here, particularly with the caroling and
this is the evening bird song. So it was drilled and etched into the perspex, and this took 4 solid days from dawn till dusk to embroider, based on a photograph and digitally printed onto the fabric, which I then developed.
And I must add that Irene is a wonderful photographer, and you can follow her on Instagram on Zoable Photography.
Yes.
Beautiful. Okay, so over to the second side of the gallery now, and we've got the first of Ellen's beautiful shawls. This is my favourite, and this is the one that I'll be wearing for the opening discussion. And Ellen, would you like to tell us a little bit about this?
Okay.
It's just lovely.
This one's called Kimberley because it really is the colour of the Kimberley. A lot of texture here, and this technique I was telling you about with merino and silk is called nuno felting, and so this is a really good gamble. A bit of commercial silk here, but predominantly dyed silk here. And I like to think the little green circles are the spinifex of the Kimberley.
Gorgeous. And then on to this next one, which is just so
This is a very large
vibrant.
wrap, so quite a big piece, but based on Limmen National Park, which had some amazing rock formations that look like the Lost City. So a very warm piece, but again, nuno felting with silk and a lot of Uzbek silk there as well.
And these little fellas standing here look like my cracked backyard in summer.
Cracked mud is often the term that this technique is called, but it actually represents some of the amazing bark that you see on the trees in the top end. So this
beautiful
one's
pieces.
quite detailed on the other side as well. Yep.
Now, tell us about these little sticks on the wall.
Okay, this is from Glider Gorge, which was in the Drysdale River National Park. And it was a very barren spinifex landscape, but a gorge that cut right into the plateau and went right in. We saw some beautiful rainforest birds, even a pitter was in this landscape. It was just beautiful, very green compared to the desert colours of when you're on top of the plateau. Yeah.
Lovely. And now we're moving across to the blues.
To the blues.
The lovely blues. Are they inspired by the sea by any
This
chance?
is the cold coastal, but it was more from a view from the top, from the aeroplane, looking down onto the mangroves and where the sea declines and rises because of the tides, and made gorgeous patterns into the landscape. And this one, this turquoise green, is from Salaya Falls, a beautiful fall that dropped from one level to the freshwater crocodiles to the saltwater crocodiles, and a beautiful pool underneath, so inspired by the colours of those. I often dye my own silk, one dye and then a couple of dyes over the top of it to get that real depth of colour into the artworks.
Beautiful colour.
And many waterfalls in the landscape as well.
That is stunning. I love it.
A couple of people have said it looked like opal, but
Yes, I have. I've
can
been
see
looking
that
at
as
some
well.
of the comments
Yeah,
on Instagram, and people have said it looked like opal.
yeah.
It's lovely.
Again, this is another shibori piece, but I should mention that I do a lot of stitching onto the work. I like to put my own feel onto the piece, kind of a reflection on where you've been and where you've come and what you do. So this is hand stitching.
It's hours of work in that. I can see, honestly, it's just absolutely mesmerising thinking of how much time has gone into stitching all of these little balls.
Yeah,
Gorgeous.
shibori technique. Yeah.
And over to my favourite scarf rack. Gorgeous.
So this one here is represented by the spinifex, the pandanus that is in that landscape. A lot of crossroads that cross across each other.
And
this one is represented by the animal tracks that the ants do these gorgeous patterns on top of the sand, and animal tracks as well. And it's again on top of the very fine merino, and you've got very soft silk, so very thin and very light.
And I think Irene selected that piece
She's
to
going to
wear.
wear that tonight, that's correct.
And another little shibori green one. And the bowls, these are just lovely. We've sort of been neglecting some of the vessels, but
So this
isn't that
one
gorgeous
is a
piece?
tessellated piece.
With
and
stone in the middle.
It's got a stone, because felting is very light, so a bit of weight there, but it just adds to the texture of the
And the
vessel.
colour is just beautiful. And we're moving right along. Oh, to my favourite.
The iconic piece, the boab.
The boab.
Yes, the top end is dotted with these amazing vessels and trees, and they are a vessel because the boab actually does hold water in its trunk.
And do you know, I had to look it up. I had to look up to see whether or not a boab was a native to Australia. And it sort of is,
It
but
is.
there is a couple of scientific theories apparently.
It is linked to South Africa. Yeah.
Yes, but we've had them here for either 72,000 years or millions of years, and that's the scientific difference. There's a few people that claim that, they didn't arrive millions of years ago, but there you go, they're ours, they've been here long enough.
And this one again is another Kimberley representation. I don't know if you can very see the obscure boabs, but it's the colour of the Kimberley. And finally the escarpment, the rocky sandstone outcrops all through the top end. So.
And of course, on the front cover of this beautiful little catalogue that you've put together is Spinifex, and we've moved the Spinifex over onto the table here so that we can have a closer look and have a look underneath the work.
So this is felt with wire embedded inside it to give it that stability.
Stunning piece. So if you've got a little tabletop somewhere, how good does it look? And you don't have to water it.
No.
And it's not spiky like real Spinifex, which hurts. Okay, well, so that's our exhibition. And I'll just whip around once more. If you have any questions about any of the things in this show, you can contact us through the website, or of course we're always on Instagram. So thank you, Irene and Ellen. This has been a fabulous little tour, and we will close off now.
Thank you, Robin. Thanks.